parental rights over children that she has
carried.
no idea how she feel about them. Even now, when we do adoption, if you have a baby and you want to give the baby up for adoption, you have to relinquish your rights.
Yeah.
The day you sign that relinquishment paper, they ask you, so you are counseled.
Yeah.
Then they ask you to go back and come back after 30 days. It is only if you haven't changed your mind after the 30-day period that you go through the relinquishment process. And so you cannot expect that somebody who hasn't even seen the children will sign away her rights when she has no idea. Maybe after giving birth to the children, now she wants them. But you've asked her to sign away her rights.
For the traditional surrogacy, are you allowed to breastfeed the child?
So for all forms of surrogacy, usually we want to prevent
that
contact. It is easier on the surrogate mother when there's the emotional connection is not there. That is why we don't want to even do traditional surrogacy. And so no, we do not approve or suggest breastfeeding.
Okay.
It is possible for you to have the breast milk, but would advise that the surrogate mothers pump the milk so that the intended parents can feed the babies with them. So we do not encourage breast contact. Yes.
So let's look at the whole process. I need a baby, and where do I go to? What do I do? What's the process? Just take us through the process.
So the best process that I can advise in our country now, you need a baby, and then you are sure that surrogacy is the avenue you want to take. Get a surrogacy agency.
Okay. And we have a lot of that in Ghana.
Not so many.
Okay.
We have a few. So get one that is good.
Registered?
Yes, registered. I'm sure you can do your homework. You know that they have good... Do your homework about the agency.
Sorry for taking you back, but I'm a bit baffled about this. We don't have laws, yet we have the agencies operating. Are the agencies registered? And who is keeping watch over these agencies?
So, yes, they are registered. Well, let me not say for all of them,
yes,
but it should be registered because we still have the registrar of companies that are regulating companies. So, yes, it is possible for you to have a company that is an agency that is registered under the laws of Ghana.
Okay.
We do not have laws regulating the process, but we recognize it. Doctors, the medical side, will do it regardless because it is, in some parts, it's a medical procedure as well. So, yes, we have agencies that help with the process. We also have some recognition in the law because the Registration of Birth and Death Act recognizes birth through surrogacy. So we have that. So, yes, go to an agent. The reason why I would advise you see an agency, instead of going straight to, let's say, a hospital, is because the hospital is focused on the medical procedure.
Okay.
They do not think a lot about every other process.
Issues that will come up.
Because this is an area that is largely unregulated, you need an agency that will tell you what you need to do.
Okay.
So, first of all, get a registered agency. Let them get you a surrogate. Let them be minded on coordinating the surrogacy process.
Okay. So the agency has a responsibility of looking for the surrogate.
Well, it is also
in some
possible
cases,
for
you can bring yours.
I have had a few clients that have their relatives as surrogates.
Okay.
I find that to be admirable, but it's not common.
Okay.
So in most cases, largely, surrogates have to be scouted for.
Okay.
So yes, the agency is responsible for scouting for the surrogates, for making sure the medical procedure is going on well, for making sure that the surrogate is well taken care of. The whole coordination is done properly.
Okay.
This is something that as intended parents, you cannot do. You need somebody to do it for you. You cannot put that responsibility on the medical facility because theirs is to make sure they are doing the medical parts properly. So they do that. If you have a good agency, they'll let you know what you need to do after.
Okay.
Because in Ghana, regardless of whether you are biologically connected to the child or not, if you do surrogacy, you must apply to be legal parents of this child.
Okay.
It is mandatory. Now, a good agency will tell you this is something you have to do.
You have to do.
Because other than that, you may not know that this is something you have to do.
And then in the future, someone will come and claim the child.
Not necessarily. So this is the thing. If you do a surrogacy process and it goes well, nobody's coming to claim the child.
Yeah.
But, and this is a current ongoing case I have, where the couple decide to go their separate ways.
Oh my, he has a lot of things.
Yes. Where the couple decide to go their separate ways. You know, when you are in love and everything is okay.
Yeah. You do everything together.
You do everything together. So in this particular instance, the couple have triplets through surrogacy and they didn't do the parentage order.
Okay.
They've been here, the children are 4 years. Everything is well and good until the marriage broke down and now it's in the divorce courts.
Yeah.
And the father of the children is saying, you are not biologically connected to these children, and so they are not your children. So the children should be given to him to the exclusion of you. He is not even saying, you know, definitely the children have to live with one person for the other person to have access.
Yeah.
No, he's saying, these are not your
sole
children.
custody.
These are my children.
My children.
And I've had these instances a few times. So some of these things are the reasons why. Also, for intended parents that live outside the country, many countries have different laws regarding surrogacy. Okay. Some don't recognize it at all, some do. But you need a parentage order regardless of whether your country recognizes it or not, so that you can be named the legal parents of the child.
Okay.
Some immigration processes require you to do DNA tests. It will fail if they are donor gametes.
Yes.
But when you have a parentage order,
okay,
it names you as the legal parents of the child, so you can travel with the child. Okay. So the reasons why we need a parentage order varies. But usually, basically, is to make you the legal parents so that you can act on behalf of these children as their parents, regardless of whether you are biologically connected or not.
Okay. So you've gone to the agency. They've taken you through what you have to do. The agency also has a medical facility they work with.
Yes.
What's the next process after?
So usually the intended family, the couple, would go do some tests.
Okay.
And then depending on whether the mother will use her own eggs or her husband will use his semen. Yes, yeah. They'll go through some tests to be sure that everything is okay. Okay. If they have a surrogate, the surrogate will also go through tests. If they're going to use an egg donor or a sperm donor, they will also go through tests to be sure that everybody is okay medically or medically fit to be able to go through the process. If it is whoever the eggs are going to come from, whether it is the intended mother or it's an egg donor, they will be taken through some medical procedure. They'll have some injections to make sure that the follicles are growing well and everything is going on well. Simultaneously with the surrogate, who is also preparing her uterus to carry the baby or babies. When the procedure is done, fertilization is good, everything works well. The embryo is supposed to travel through a certain stage for a few days. If that happens and then they pass or they progress to the next stage, then they'll be transferred to the surrogate. Okay. So the surrogate will have those embryos that have been fertilized outside of her. It's just like an IVF process. Yes. So they'll be transferred to her, and then she has a 2 weeks period within which to wait, where she's taking more medication to make sure that implantation is going well, or it will be successful. Then she does a pregnancy test after 2 weeks, to determine whether it was successful or not.
At what stage do you talk? I want us to look at the current status of the surrogacy law in Ghana, but at what stage do we talk about money?
From the beginning.
From the beginning.
Yes. Surrogates always want to know, before they will agree to anything, how much you're going to give them. And so you have to talk about money from the beginning. Okay. When you see your agency, one of the first things you talk about is, how much is this going to cost me? Okay. What is cost going to look like? a good agency will break down everything for you, what the agency fee is, what the medical fee
The cost,
looks
yeah.
like, and then how much is going to be given to the surrogate. If they're housing the surrogate, how much that also involves, your legal part, if they're doing that for you, what that also looks like. So money is one of the first things that you discuss.
Okay.
This is an expensive process, so you need to talk about this from
the beginning.
Yes, it's not that you are halfway, then you realize that, oh, this is more than I budgeted for, or I didn't estimate it will come to this. So money is one of the first things that you talk about.
When a surrogate carries the child to a point and loses the child, does she lose the money as well? So because all these things, when we are talking about the law, I'm sure the law would be factored into these things, right?
Yes, it would. In the meantime, because we don't have it, the surrogacy contract, you need a surrogacy contract. So the surrogacy contract should be comprehensive enough to contain all these details. It is important.
Okay.
I've seen surrogacy contracts that are, what you're holding is even more than the surrogacy contract. But a very good surrogacy contract should be very comprehensive. Nothing less than 20 pages.
Wow.
I think what I have is like almost 60 pages, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, because it needs to be as comprehensive as possible.
Okay, so what do you have in the contract?
So the contract will spell out the parties, that's the intended parents, and then the surrogates, and their personal details. Then it would spell out specifically what this arrangement looks like. Okay. Which hospital are you going to use? Because the surrogate mother needs to understand she's going to go on medication. You don't assume she knows.
Okay, you have to
So you have to spell it out. That she's going to take medication, this is what it's going to look like. Some of the medication are intrusive because injections and all of these things. So it has to be there. Then she's going to go through, the transfer is going to be done. Even the eggs, you need to state that in there that it's not going to be hers. And then what you're expecting from her, things that she shouldn't do. This is regular pregnancy, so the same rules apply. But you need to state it, because sometimes you don't know. So you're not supposed to drink, no alcohol, you're not smoking, you're not eating certain food that can cause miscarriages.
What if the person is married and has a life partner already?
So that is a whole different, but it is possible for your life partner to be part of this agreement. In fact, I'm interested in seeing a surrogate that is married, so that I can speak to your partner. They need to agree, because one way or the other it will affect their lives. When you are married, sex is expected. So when you have a surrogate who is married, the arrangements have to change a little bit. Other than that, when you have a surrogate who is not, you need to talk about sex, because they cannot be seen to engage in sexual activities that can cause, if they have sexual infections or STIs, it will affect the pregnancy. And you know, assisted reproductive technology is the last end. This is how I always say, the last end of you possibly getting your own child. So before intended couples will get there, they've spent so much money and so much time. So you don't want to put that pregnancy in any jeopardy. So that surrogacy contract must be comprehensive. So you need to put it in there, what she's allowed to do, movements, how the agency also comes in. She needs to understand that some expenses, like medical expenses, her transportation to the medical facility and back, will be covered. Who is covering it? It cannot be assumed. You need to state it. If there's going to be some form of communication, then I recommend it. It doesn't break the confidentiality part of it, but they must have some relationship. The surrogate mother and then the couple. They may not know each other, but they can have a phone call. You know, the agency can facilitate it. It doesn't have to be direct. The agency can facilitate it. What this does is that it helps the couple to be able to go through this process with the surrogates.
Yeah.
They can relate. They know how you are feeling. So it's not out of the blue that they are there one day they have a child. No, they went through it. They know that it was a difficult pregnancy or it was a smooth one. They know the cravings she has. They can relate. They're human beings.
Okay.
They need that emotional connection.
That's always facilitated by the agency.
That is what I recommend.
Okay.
Always facilitated by the agency, because guess what? Surrogates can be troublesome. They can be troublesome.
Yeah.
And so you want to prevent that situation. So yes, agencies should facilitate that. Some agencies block it totally. I don't think it is necessary.
Yeah.
I understand that every company and the way they do their things, but I don't think it's necessary. You
At least there should be some form of contact.
Yes, you can facilitate some of these arrangements. It gives them some assurance. They know how it's going.
Yeah.
If you're not well today, they know if something is going on. So when you tell them that there's a miscarriage, it's not out of the blue.
Because
They've
known the process.
the difficulties. Now, coming to your question, does she lose the money when she miscarries or something happens to this pregnancy halfway? It depends on your contracts.
Okay.
Best case, she shouldn't lose everything. I think that depending on when the miscarriage happens, at which points in that pregnancy, if she loses the baby or she miscarries, and then also looking at what caused the miscarriage, all these factors will determine if she gets something, how much she will get.
Okay.
The surrogacy contract should not be in such a way that she only gets the 100% at the end. I've seen some agencies give some of the surrogates some of the monies every month.
Okay.
Some give them per trimester.
Okay.
So it also depends on which agency you are working with.
Okay.
But I do not believe that you don't get anything then
until when you deliver.
Yes. So when you look at some of the surrogacy contracts,
in those periods, your transportation and your medical bills,
everything is
taken
covered.
care of.
Yes.
Okay.
So you as a surrogate, you don't have expenses. Even when you are accommodated, your accommodation is taken care of. What you eat is taken care of.
Okay.
You usually have somebody who is helping to manage, so that you don't stress yourself.
Okay.
Because this pregnancy
is delicate.
Yeah, it's very delicate. Yes. So we want to make sure that everything is going on well so that you can have an easy pregnancy as much as you can.
So let's look at the current legal status of surrogacy in Ghana. And the Birth and Death Act, like you said, mentions it. It doesn't go into details. What are the gaps, from working with surrogates and then parents or couples, have you identified in this act?
So I love that amendment when it came, because it gave us practitioners some way to figure something. Yes, it gave us some room. Some of the gaps, so what the law says is that if you have a child through surrogacy or assisted reproductive technology, for now, we use surrogacy.
Okay.
Come to courts, bring an application for parentage. If you're able to satisfy the courts that you can be legal parents of this child, then the courts will award you the title of legal parents.
Okay.
Now, this application can be brought in before the baby is born or after the baby is born. Now, this is my first problem with it. It says before the baby is born, it should be brought within 12 weeks after the transfer is done. I have a problem with this because every woman that has gone through the pregnancy process knows that when you get pregnant, that pregnancy may terminate within 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with you. You can have a miscarriage within 12 weeks. So even for most hospitals, you do not start antenatal until after 12 weeks.
Yeah.
So if you tell me, bring the application within 12 weeks, what if the pregnancy terminates? I would have wasted my money on legal fees and things like that. So I want to believe that it was an error. It was supposed to be after 12 weeks instead of within 12 weeks.
Within 12 weeks, okay.
And then also, what does it mean if I bring the application 13 weeks or 4? What does it change?
Okay.
What does this,
even after 3 months?
Yes,
it doesn't change anything.
This a problem? Isn't it better for us to satisfy ourselves that this pregnancy is staying
and it's stable?
And it is stable, than for us to bank? So that's my first problem with this. Now, my other problem is with the second part where it says after the baby is born. It says that the application should be brought before the baby is 6 months. And the procedure should be like the adoption process.
Okay.
I have a problem with this, a huge problem.
Because it's not an adoption.
Because one is it's not an adoption. I understand that when it comes to children, you know, before the baby is born, there's no child.
Yes.
After the baby is born, there's a child.
Yes.
So when it comes to dealing with children, we have the Hague Convention. We are trying to prevent child trafficking. So we need to be careful. I understand that. So we need to be very rigorous in making sure that whoever says they want to take care of this child actually have a capacity to take care of the child. And that they haven't stolen anybody's child and they want to come through the back door to say, hey, I did surrogacy. So I understand the need for thoroughness when it comes to children. However, this is not adoption. With adoption, you didn't know from the beginning, from when that child was born, you had no idea. You had nothing to do with it. You on your own decided I wanted to adopt. You went, this child was available, and you had the child, irrespective of the child's age.
Yeah.
With surrogacy, you determined the birth of this child. So from the beginning, you had conceived in your mind, you were clear in your mind that this is the child I want. It doesn't matter if it was not your egg and not your sperm.
You needed it.
You needed it. You created this opportunity. And so it's not the same.
Okay.
Now, also, I've had some of the judges say that, oh, we are going to look at the ages. With adoption, if you don't live in Ghana and it's not a relative that you're adopting, the age limit is 50 years. And so they're going to apply to surrogacy. And that's not fair.
That's not,
Because with surrogacy, before you come and you do surrogacy, you've gone through many years of trying by yourself, trying many IVFs that have failed. By the time that even you have a surrogate who successfully carries your pregnancy, you are way far advanced in age. And so saying that a 51-year-old that has paid for this surrogacy process and the baby is here, cannot have the children, that is absurd. And what does it mean for the children? It means that, assuming that now the child is here, right? So if you're not granting the parents the legal status, that child becomes an orphan. What happens to the child? It does not make sense that we will interpret this law. This law will come and create problems instead of solving the problem. So that's another problem that I have with the post-birth. And even if we are to treat the process like adoption, I think some exceptions can be made.
Okay.
There's been no exception to whether the child is biologically connected to the parents. No exception. So strictly speaking, you're saying that even if it is my own egg or my own sperm, because I am over 50 years, I cannot have that child. The child will be given to a social welfare for adoption. It's absurd. So
that means that all the monies you have wasted,
everything. So that is my difficulty with this. And obviously, this law is only specifically to registering the birth of these children. So it's not enough. It doesn't regulate anything. So we need an actual act of parliament that will regulate everything,
the
what happens, agencies, how they should be regulated or licensed.
Should even be taken out of where it exists now in Act 1024.
No, where it is, let's leave it there. But let's have a
separate act
that regulates everything.
Okay.
What is allowed? Because international best practice, surrogacy, commercializing it is not allowed. So you cannot say, I'm bringing people to Ghana for them to be surrogates. That's you commercializing it. No, you can't do that. You can't specifically have girls whose job is to produce babies for other people. No. So commercializing should not be allowed, things like that. Let's regulate the facilities. How many embryos can they transfer? Because we are having facilities transfer 4 embryos, 5 embryos. It's even against the medical practice in the first place. Then agencies, they should be licensed. Somebody should be checking them. Social welfare.
The health facilities should be also regulated as well.
social welfare, how do they come in? Because their children have been birthed. So how do they come in to protect these children? We have intended parents who, for the best, I don't know why they do this, but you are struggling to have a baby. We understand you have a child through surrogacy. And then when the child is born, you leave the child here. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I understand with some of the countries, like in the US, it takes time for the immigration process to work.
Yeah.
But this is something that you should consider. I know that some of the parents cannot immediately
Take the kids out.
take the kids. Some are working, they have to go come. Those ones I can understand. But I've also had parents who say, I'm not ready yet to bring this child. So I'm getting a nanny who will care for this child for 2 years. Why? You know?
Yeah.
So we should also regulate things like that. And then, yes, have a whole structure. When you have embryos, you want to freeze them. What are the regulations surrounding it? We've had parents or intended parents who say, I have a frozen embryo in the US or in the UK. I want to bring it here. Let's have a proper
some laws that regulate
it so that we know exactly what we are doing. So that is the reason why there's so much need for this assisted reproductive technology law. And I'm hoping that we can pass it under this government.
Oh, really?
Yes,
but has any kind of conversations gone on pertaining to this?
I know for some time now, especially with the Association of Fertility Clinics, they've been trying to push for this law.
Yes.
And then even now for us lawyers and practitioners, we are trying. Even though this amendment to the Birth and Death Act is there, it tells you, yes, bring the application. It doesn't tell you how to bring the application or what's the cost you look out for.
Yeah.
So there's this uncertainty with regards to what's the threshold is, what you are required to prove. And so you can have a judge who would grant this and another judge using the same facts would not grant it. So we are hoping that we can have some law to make everything clear. Or let's have more engagements. Whilst we are waiting for the law to pass, we can agree on some procedural practices or
that can guide the process.
So that, yes, we can have
But has there been a case where you could not obtain a parent order for a couple? Because of what the law says?
Yes. I think just last week. Just last week.
Okay. So what happens to them?
So with that particular case, so what the judge said was that she was using the age principle. So I said, okay, that's fine. The Children's Act, before this amendment came, we had the Children's Act. The Children's Act allows you to bring an application for parentage. The amendment to the Birth and Death is not the first one that we are having. Okay. That one is just specific to surrogacy. But the Children's Act has it already. Okay. So I can come under the Children's Act. It doesn't give you an age requirement. It doesn't give you an age limit. If you're able to satisfy the conditions,
you're
the
good
court
to go.
should grant it.
Okay, so we put together a tidbit on what couples should know before they get or take the decision to use a surrogate in getting a child. Let's take that, and when we come back, the phone lines will be opened. The numbers are on your screen. You can call in, and then let's have a discussion together. So let's take the tidbit, and then we'll continue the conversation.
What every woman should know about surrogacy. Not every woman's journey to motherhood looks the same. Surrogacy reminds us to lead with empathy, not judgment. Not every woman can carry a pregnancy, and that's okay. Surrogacy gives families while putting women's health, consent, and dignity first. Surrogacy isn't exploitation when done ethically. It's informed choice, legal protection, and respect for women's bodies and decisions. Surrogacy equals informed choice plus medical care and legal protection. Every woman deserves to understand her options.
So every woman needs to understand her options. That's why we are having this program here for you. There's a lot of things that you can do. So the numbers to call us on are displayed on your screens. call us. Please control the sound, the volume on your TV set so that we do not have feedback. You can call us and then we can join the conversation. But let's look at some of the stories you have encountered working with surrogates in this process.
So a few. I remember the very first surrogacy case that came to me was a young lady, and of course she's a mother because surrogates have to be mothers.
Mothers before.
She had a son already,
Okay.
and then she had been engaged to do surrogacy, and she was put in an uncompleted building. And abandoned.
So it means there was no agency.
There was an agency.
Okay.
It was not properly the coordination was
It was
not
a
properly
one-page
done.
contract type.
I'm not even sure there was
A contract.
a contract at all, because I remember when we came in, we did a contract.
Okay.
So she was left there, and I think somebody knew her story, reached out to one of the media houses, and then she was interviewed, and they came on, and she was directed to come see us. So during our conversation, we found out that she didn't even know she had been, they had transferred 4 embryos into her, and 1 had divided, so she was carrying 5. She didn't know.
Wow.
At the time she came to us, I think she was about 6 months pregnant. And she lives alone in that, with her son.
The son.
In the uncompleted building. She has a coal pot and some things to cook.
Bed.
So when it was time for her to go to the hospital, they'll go there, they'll pick her up.
Oh.
They'll take her to the hospital, they'll drop her off. And at that time, this was like 2018, they had agreed to give her 5,000 cedis. And she was going to take it.
Yeah, because she needed that kind of money.
Yes. And so we came in the picture.
Okay.
So that was my first, I was horrified.
Yeah, you will be.
Then, with time, I got to know that there was a whole brothel. I think it used to be a Kwabinya. I'm not sure whether they are there. Where girls had been brought in from the north to stay there.
To go through the process.
It was being commercialized. Whether it was actual surrogacy process or they were just sleeping with these girls and then they would have the children that would be collected from them. It was just horrifying. Then there's this other story that I've heard where, and another reason why we don't encourage traditional surrogacy. So the couple, obviously desperate, they needed a surrogate. They spoke to a lady and she agreed to be a traditional surrogate for them. She got pregnant. Then the intended father was having sex with her.
Oh my God.
Intended father was having sex with her and she had the baby. Then she sues them. She sued them, claiming more than she had agreed in her contract. And then also saying that the intended father had raped her and taken advantage of her. See how it gets messy?
Yeah. So was she living with them or because they had physical contact?
She was not living with them. Then there's also another one where the couple needed an egg donor. So the woman was going to do IVF, but she needed an egg donor. And between she and her husband, they had agreed that they'll get an egg donor. They'll pay for her to pay for a trip outside the country. They'll buy her a car. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
An egg donor. But anyway, that's what they had agreed.
She's not even carrying the baby.
No. So he had found somebody, according to him. I think they used to work together. One young girl in his office or something. So before she would go through the procedure, he pays for the trip. And this is the weird thing. He's paying for her to go on the trip before the procedure, and he's going with her. So he went with her.
I'm sure my director is laughing.
They came back. So they're supposed to go and do the testing to start the procedure. She's pregnant for them.
What? Oh, I'm sure the woman will be devastated. Oh my God. Oh.
I don't know.
So these are the stories.
But these are real stories.
Yes.
Then I heard from one hospital that they used to have surrogates who would run with the babies.
With the baby.
And some who would abort the babies. And for the agencies that don't keep the surrogates, there are instances where the surrogates can miscarry, and because they are afraid to lose the money, they have sex to get pregnant. And they show up passing it off. It's weird.
That's why we need some form of
Yes.
laws to guide the whole process.
Yes. So
Has there been a case where someone comes and wants to claim the baby? Who a surrogate comes and says, "Okay, I agree that I would carry the baby for you. I have done that, but I think that I need my child." Have you had
I haven't
cases?
personally, no. I think that when you have very thorough
Process.
contracts and process,
You
these
don't have those issues coming
yes,
up.
you reduce the likelihood of these issues. And having heard this, maybe the reason is because usually surrogates are not biologically connected to these children. I have heard some hospitals say maybe the surrogates can change their mind to say, I don't want to carry the pregnancy anymore. I haven't had that encounter personally, but I have heard it.
Okay.
And also, when you don't keep an eye, like when you're not engaging, I'm not surprised some of these things happen because when you leave them, they're going through a lot.
Yeah.
You know, being pregnant is not easy. They're going through a lot. Nobody's in cause, nobody cares. But all you care about is the baby. And so if somebody comes and says, I want to change my mind.
That's another issue.
But one of the things I am strict about is psychological evaluation.
Okay, very important.
So a lot of people don't do that. The person that you are going to put this through, how is their minds?
Do they understand what they are going to go through?
How are they likely to act? Things like that. They need to pass that evaluation. But people are, agencies and other people in this chain, they're in a hurry to get the money. So, oh, you want to be a surrogate, then let me bring you, let me get it. They don't care about what is your mental health? What is the state of your mental health? Are you okay? Do you understand this? Why really do you want to do this? Things like that. And so some of these issues happen. But I think I haven't heard about some of these things in a while.
Okay.
I think now I just read about some on social media. But yes, for those that don't go through
The right process.
right processes, and they usually want to have a personal relationship with the surrogate, they're more likely to face some of these
challenges.
Some of these challenges. Yes, there are also issues where surrogates are they are ripped off. Let me put it in that way. So agencies don't give them what they promised to give them, and that is not a good thing. We've also had donors who are going from one fertility center to the other. And so there's the trend now where donors are not even producing eggs because they've gone to too many places. They're having infections.
Yeah.
And because nobody wants to talk about this, they don't tell anybody. They are self-medicating and they're not treating these things well. And they'll go to the next facility center. There's no history of them having donated anywhere. There's no donor registry anywhere. So they'll go through the process again and there's nothing. For egg donors, the highest age for you to be a donor is 25.
25.
So imagine if at 25, you have no eggs to donate.
You've drained it all. And a lot of
And you
young
wanna have
girls
your-
are doing it
Yes,
these days.
you want to have your
What are
own
the
child.
prices that are paid, the amount that are paid for the semen, the donor? I saw one recently and I think they were giving 2,000
For what?
for eggs.
I think that is ridiculously low. It depends, even though it is agency
I mean, when I saw it, I
specific.
was like 2,000 Ghana cedis. That's really low.
That's ridiculously low.
Really low.
I think the lowest I've heard will be 5,000.
5,000. Okay.
Yes, That's the lowest I've heard, but 2,000 is ridiculously
low.
low. And sperm and egg donors don't get the same thing for obvious reasons. An egg donor, properly speaking, can only donate once in a few months. The sperm donor can donate every 3 days or so. So it's not the same thing.
Yeah, it's not the same.
But 2,000 is ridiculous.
It's low. For surrogates, can we look at how much?
So with all the, whether it's surrogates or donors, it depends on which agency you are working with.
Okay.
But for surrogates, it also depends on a few things. I know for instance, how many children you're carrying. That's one. It will determine how much you get.
Okay.
Is the agency housing you, or are you housing yourself?
Okay.
That also determines how much you get. Are you responsible for your transportation to the hospital, and all that determine how much you get? So it depends on which agency you're also working with. Yes.
Okay. What's the highest you have paid?
Highest.
Between a certain amount and a certain amount. Not giving it away, but
in the 200s, thousands.
Okay. Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's look at the right of the children in surrogacy. How are their rights protected? For example, you talked about a couple that are divorcing. Are there laws that protect these children?
This is an interesting and quite technical subject, but I'll try and make it as simple for you. So before the baby is born, there's no baby, so there's no rights. You cannot have rights when you don't exist.
Yeah.
I'm making it simple. So rights of a child will come when it's a child who will have rights.
Yeah.
Now, in the surrogacy contract, it is for surrogacy. What should be in that contract, definitely, to protect this child are a few things. One, who has the child at birth?
Okay.
Because that has to be determined. I have seen a hospital where the baby was lying there because surrogates had a baby, intended parents were not around. The baby's there, lying on one of the tables in the hospital, wrapped.
Was she even claimed? Was the baby finally claimed?
Yes. So apparently, the story was that she was, the surrogates had an emergency.
CS.
Yes. And then the intended parents were, I think they were in the north or something like that.
Okay.
So it was going to take them a few days to come.
Yeah.
But things like this should be predetermined, you know, because that baby has rights to something like that. Then the child's health insurance, like who is going to be responsible for it? What does feeding look like for this child? And then the rights to have an identity. So to be registered at birth, to have an identity, those things. The right to have a home. So the most important thing that should be in this contract to cover the baby is the right to have an identity, to have a family, and to have a home. At least that basic thing should be there. So that there's no doubt. You don't want to have a child that nobody's claiming doesn't have a home, is lying on some table. That is not good.
Let's look at, I mean, I'm sure that there will be some form of stigma associated to this. Have you encountered any, and how have you dealt with it? I mean, for the couple.
There's a lot of stigma. I found it surprising when I realized that there's a lot of stigma that comes with intended parents who choose to go through surrogacy.
Okay.
I found it surprising because it's coming from the church.
Wow.
Yes, it's coming from the church. And it's surprising to me. I still find it surprising.
That it should come from the church.
Yes, that it should come from the church because the church is where couples go to pray for children.
Yes. So now they
That
have the
is your
kids.
resolute. So you go to pray for children, and then you have kids, and then there's stigma. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to say, I had a surrogate. People actually ask for fake bumps to be able to appear pregnant so that when the baby comes. And it's unfortunate for me, and this is not fair, because it is already tough for you as a woman trying to have a baby to be able to add on societal pressure to it. If the church is not a place that you can find peace and comfort, then what is the point? So you find that people who are in church have children through surrogacy, but cannot talk about it in church. When you talk about it, it encourages the next person, because there's so many people who are in church who wants to have children whose option is surrogacy. It is not your fault. It is not your fault. There are so many reasons why couples choose to have surrogacy. Only one of them is that the woman cannot carry. Only one. Actually, now, if I can afford it,
you can't have a child.
I don't want to carry my own child. You know, so only one. So the fact that a woman will be shamed that somebody else carried her babies is ridiculous for me. And the mere fact that it's coming from the church, I find it rather unfortunate. But yes, there's a stigma. And
there's a lot of public education on...
Is it? Yes, I believe that if people come out more to talk about it, to say, hey, this is what I did, it will make people more comfortable.
I mean, outside, people are free to talk about it.
Yes, but it's not the same culture.
Nigerian actress who, I think, went through that process, and the backlash was crazy on social media. Why she decided to?
African culture.
We are getting there gradually.
No, one of what makes you a woman is your ability to have or to carry your own children.
And deliver in the natural way.
And deliver
in the natural
through your vagina. And so if you have a CS, people have a problem with it. If you have a epidural, people have a problem with it. They'll tell you, be a Hebrew woman and all of those things. So now imagine that you didn't even carry the pregnancy at all.
Yes, that brings
you see? And then when they even hear that, not only did you not carry the pregnancy, it's not even your egg. Like, so
it takes
for me,
it to another level.
And it just impounds on the psychological stress couples go through when they have issues with having their own children. And it's a lot. So I think that people should be kinder on other people. Stop asking ridiculous questions like, when are you having a child? Hey, you've been married for a long time. Hey, or your child, maybe
when
you
even
even
get pregnant. I didn't know you were pregnant.
I didn't know you were pregnant.
But I just
saw you. Listen, I remember when I was going to have my daughter, and I had a CS. So I was admitted the day before the CS. And I had a call from a friend of mine, and he was like, where are you? And I said, oh, I'm in the hospital. I'm having a baby tomorrow. Like, what do you mean you're having a baby? So all this while I've been seeing you, have you been pregnant? He said he was going to come to the hospital
to see for himself.
That was how ridiculous it is. Like, he wants to see. Like, why? You know, why? Sometimes when people are saying these things, you don't think about it. What does it mean to you? What does it do?
Person.
So they'll ask you, when are you having a baby, or your child is old, she needs a sibling. A sibling. All those questions. Hey, the gap is too much. Why? No.
We will change. It will take time, but we'll get there. I mean, we have to wrap up, but finally, what would you say to young girls out there who want to be surrogates?
For girls who want to be surrogates, I want to say that you need to be sure what you want to do. You need to know what it is. I've had somebody come before me, and she said she had no idea what surrogacy is, but she wants to be a surrogate.
She needs the money? Is it because of the money?
It's always because of the money. So know for sure what you want to do and be clear about it, and ask questions. You need a surrogacy contract. Don't look at the fact that there's money and overlook a contract. Ask for the contract. Make sure that you understand the things that are written in the contract. Take it to any lawyer of your choice. At least whatever it is, make sure you understand it. Ask all the questions. And watch your health. Your health is paramount. If you're not healthy, you cannot carry a pregnancy to term. So make sure you are healthy. When you do decide to engage in surrogacy, consider your health. Don't jump from one pregnancy to the other because of the money. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself as well.
Thank you so much, Miriam, for coming. It's always interesting and insightful to have you on the show. We've discussed a whole lot, but we promised to, Miriam's going to help us get a surrogate into the studio. And maybe a medical doctor, so that they will share their experiences going through the process with us. As we bring today's discussion to a close, one message stands clear. Surrogacy is no longer a distant concept. It's a growing reality in Ghana. While the law recognizes the practice, the absence of a comprehensive regulatory framework leaves women, children, and families vulnerable. We need a stronger law, clearer policies, better medical oversight, and a deliberate protection for surrogate mothers and then intended parents. Above all, we all need information. So let's talk about it. If you've gone through it, share it with someone, what it was all about. And we hope today's conversation has helped you better understand surrogacy and help you to also talk to someone else. Thanks for joining us. Miriam, thanks for coming. My name is Gloria Anderson. See you same time Wednesday.